Beneath the burning Egyptian sun, a lioness awakens, not of flesh, but of fire. Her roar shakes the dunes, her breath scorches the horizon, and her eyes blaze with the same fierce light that guides the chariot of Ra across the heavens. She is Sekhmet, the powerful one, the goddess of war, destruction, and healing. A divine paradox who could bring plagues upon humanity, yet cure them with the same hands. Welcome back to Legends Reborn, and today we journey into the blazing heart of Egyptian mythology to uncover the story of Sekhmet, the lioness of the sun, a goddess of both destruction and healing whose fire once nearly ended humankind and then saved it. In the oldest Egyptian hymns, her name is spoken with reverence and fear alike. To call upon Sekhmet was to invite both ruin and salvation. She was said to walk beside kings into battle, her mane aflame, her laughter echoing through the clash of swords. Yet the same goddess was worshipped by healers and physicians, her temples filled with the scent of incense and myrrh. She was protector and punisher, flame and medicine, one of the most complex deities ever imagined by humankind. Her story begins with Ra, the mighty sun god, ruler of creation and father of the divine order. In the age before dynasties and pharaohs, Ra ruled both gods and mortals alike. But as time passed, humanity grew proud. They mocked the gods, disobeyed sacred laws, and spread chaos across the lands of Egypt. Ra, weary and betrayed, looked down upon his creation and saw that they had forgotten the light that gave them life. Out of sorrow and fury, Ra tore his own eye from his face, a fragment of his divine essence, and sent it to earth as an avenger. From that fiery act of creation was born a being of pure solar energy, Sekhmet, the lioness of the sun. Her birth was the sunrise made flesh, and her very breath carried the power to scorch stone. Wherever she set foot, the air shimmered and trembled. Ra commanded her to cleanse the world of those who had turned against the gods. And so, Sekhmet descended upon the earth like a storm of fire. The sands turned red beneath her claws, and the Nile, once the river of life, flowed with the blood of the rebellious. No army could stand before her. No prayer could turn her aside. She was divine justice made manifest, and she carried it out without mercy. At first, Ra watched in grim satisfaction. Humanity had brought this upon themselves, and through Sekhmet's wrath, balance would be restored. But as the slaughter continued, even Ra began to tremble. Sekhmet was not stopping. Her thirst for vengeance had become uncontrollable. The guilty had fallen, yet she continued to hunt. Villages burned, cities fell silent, and the air grew heavy with smoke and iron. The ancient texts say she rejoiced in her work, reveling in the carnage she had been born to deliver. She drank deeply of the blood of the fallen, her golden eyes glowing brighter with every drop. The divine eye that Ra had cast into the world now reflected only chaos. Her purpose had twisted upon itself, and the destroyer of evil had become the destroyer of all. When Ra saw what his daughter had become, sorrow overcame his fury. He had unleashed a force that could not be commanded, not even by the God who made her. The world teetered on the brink of extinction, and the cries of the dying reached even the heavens. In desperation, Ra devised a plan not of power, but of cunning. He ordered his priests to brew vast jars of beer and dye them red with ochre until the fields gleamed like a river of blood beneath the dawn. When Sekhmet returned from her slaughter, she saw the red flood shining in the morning light. Believing it to be the spoils of another massacre, she lowered her head and began to drink. She drank endlessly, delighted by what she thought was blood, until the power of the beer took hold. Her mind began to blur, her fury fading into confusion. The terrible laughter that had shaken the deserts grew softer, then vanished. Her steps slowed, her claws dragged through the sand, and finally she fell into a deep, dreamless sleep beneath the same sun from which she was born. For days she lay still, and the world exhaled in relief. The fires died out. The rivers cleared. The screams that had filled the wind became silence once more. When she awoke, her bloodlust was gone. The light in her eyes was softer now, not gone, but tempered. The lioness who had been sent to destroy humankind had been humbled, not by battle, but by compassion disguised as trickery. Ra looked down upon her and saw that the fury which had once threatened to unmake creation could also serve as its protector. In that moment, Sekhmet's role changed. No longer was she merely the goddess of vengeance. She became the guardian of balance, the one who burned only what needed to be purified. And so, the legend of Sekhmet was etched into stone and memory. She remained the lioness of the sun, fierce and radiant, but her name would forever remind the world that even the mightiest forces must learn restraint. Because without balance, even light becomes fire. When Sekhmet awoke from her long slumber, the world had changed. The fires she had set had cooled into fertile ash, and the lands once blackened by her wrath now shimmered with green once more. But something deeper had changed within her. The lioness who had been born from the burning eye of Ra no longer roared for vengeance. She had seen what her fury could do, how easily justice could turn into destruction. And in that awakening, she found her purpose. From that moment, Sekhmet's image began to appear not just on the walls of temples dedicated to war, but also in the sanctuaries of healing. Her followers believed that the same power that could destroy life could also restore it. The priests who served her were not merely warriors. They were physicians, surgeons, and exorcists of illness. In the city of Memphis, beside the temple of her husband Ptah, stood the great house of life, a place where knowledge of medicine, surgery, and ritual healing was preserved. The priests of Sekhmet learned to diagnose fevers, treat wounds, and perform prayers meant to drive away disease. They said every illness was a form of imbalance, and Sekhmet's fire, when properly invoked, could burn away the corruption and leave the body whole. She was no longer just the lioness who devoured the enemies of the gods. She became the one who devoured sickness itself. Her image adorned the amulets worn by soldiers before battle, her name whispered by physicians before they touched their patients. In her duality, she embodied Egypt's deepest belief that all forces, even chaos, could serve the balance of the world if properly guided. In art, she was always shown with the head of a lioness crowned by the solar disk of Ra, a symbol of her divine origin and her fiery nature. That disk burned above her brow like a reminder. She carried the heat of the sun itself, the same energy that gave life to the crops and could scorch the desert dry. To the Egyptians, the sun was both creator and destroyer, its warmth the breath of life, its blaze the threat of death. And Sekhmet was the truth made flesh. Some stories say that, in time, her fury softened so deeply that she transformed into Hathor, the goddess of love and joy, whose laughter replaced Sekhmet's roar. Others believed they were two faces of the same being, the wrath and the mercy, the storm and the calm after it. And yet, even when seen as separate, Sekhmet's power was never forgotten. Kings and pharaohs prayed to her before leading their armies, believing she walked beside them on the battlefield, her roar echoing through the clash of bronze and shield. When they triumphed, they credited her protection. When they fell, they said she had turned her face away. But for all her associations with war, Sekhmet's truest domain became medicine and purification. The ancient Egyptians saw disease not only as a physical condition, but as a spiritual imbalance, a disturbance in the harmony known as Ma'at. And who better to restore that balance than the goddess who had once nearly unmade it? Her priests would invoke her through complex rites, using sacred words, amulets, and herbs to draw her healing fire into the mortal world. She was both the fever and the cure, both the flame and the hand that soothed it. To the modern ear, it sounds contradictory. How could one being hold within herself both healing and destruction? Yet that was the essence of Egyptian wisdom, the understanding that all opposites spring from the same source. Just as the sun's light gives life but also burns the careless, Sekhmet's power was never truly divided. It was unity through duality, power through understanding. In her myth lies a truth that transcends time. Every force capable of creation also carries the potential for destruction. The same intelligence that builds cities can invent weapons. The same energy that fuels progress can ignite chaos. Humanity, like Sekhmet, stands always on that razor's edge between mastery and ruin. To the ancient Egyptians, Sekhmet was not a warning against anger, but against imbalance. Her story was a reminder that passion without purpose leads to devastation, but passion with wisdom becomes the fire that transforms the world. Her existence teaches that the difference between chaos and order is not strength, but intention. Today, thousands of years later, her statues still stand, some carved from red granite, others from dark stone that glows beneath sunlight. Her eyes are calm now, but they still watch. They remind us that destruction and creation are not enemies. They are phases of the same eternal cycle. To destroy corruption is to heal the world. To heal carelessly is to let corruption return. Sekhmet is not good. She is not evil. She is necessary. She is the living balance of nature, the flame that punishes and the warmth that nurtures. And when the sun rises over the sands of Egypt, her spirit rises with it, a timeless reminder that the fiercest fire can also be the brightest light. This is Legends Reborn, where the past still breathes.